Well, hello and welcome to the stream. Let's go ahead and see what we can get into. We're going to do a little bit of the Art Bell, and we're going to do Germany in the 1980s. Enjoy.
I received a 3-page fax from a man named Deke Richards about several days ago. An absolutely riveting detailing of what do you want to call it? A crash and a retrieval in Germany. We'll call it what it is, the Fulda Gap area. Now, I wanted to bring Deke back on. There's been deep interest from high up in the UFO community. So, Deke, are you there? Yes, ma'am. Oh, excellent. I like regular phones so much better than cell phones, Deke. They sound better, doesn't it? Yeah, much better. All right, what I'd like you to do now, relax, take a deep breath, and unwind this story for me. Where did you grow up, Deke? I grew up in Maine. In Maine. So, way up there in the confines of northern Maine on dairy farm. So then you've always sort of been in that area. Oh, yes. Except when you went into military service. When was that? I went into the military. I first originally joined when I was in high school still on a delayed entry program. Well, you were really anxious, weren't you? Well, they had armed forces stay there at the high school, What year was that? Do you remember? 1979. 1979. Yeah, right after I graduated, they didn't waste no time sending me into boot camp. Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri, down here in Missouri. We called it Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri, but that's Fort Leonardville, Missouri. Well, I was in the Air Force. I was in basic training, and I knew the Missouri, so I go with that. Anyway, you went through some sort of high school, probably. I went down there I did my AIT down there in Fort Leonardville as well. That's my advanced individual training. Mm-hmm. And what was that for? Recovery. Recovery. Yes. My LOS was a 63 whiskey. At that time, in 79, before they rechanged the numbers of the LOS structures back there in the 80s, there was a 63 whiskey. All right. Recovery of what? Recovery of any wheeled vehicle. Oh, okay. All right. Anything that might get stuck out there or crash or have trouble or whatever. I knew exactly what I wanted to do because up there in one of our cornfields, a guy got stuck there one night. I had to go out there at 2 o'clock in the morning to get him out of there because my father found this guy in our cornfield. He would have had a well full of buckshots. Don't mess up our cornfield. All right. What right did you obtain in the military? E6. How long? Oh, E6. Yeah, well, because the cutoff scores were so low, because 63 whiskey, there wasn't that many in the field. The cutoff scores were very low, and so I made rank quick. You ran for how long? I was in for 10 years. 10 years. So I got out, and now you can say I went out on early retirement, not on my own. Okay. You were assigned in Germany from whence to whence? I was there from December 79 to April of 84. 4.5 years. 84. All right. Now, in your job, where were you in Germany? My first duty assignment there in Germany was with the 29th Flight Service Company in Bonn. We were up there on top of the hill right there at Level Concern. Shared the concern with the 48th Maintenance Company. Okay, so you did what you normally do. You retrieve. I take it. Right. Being in the supply service company there, we had a laundry bath facility. And they went out to the field quite often to service other military units, infantry a lot that was in there. And Bonn, there was the headquarters for 8th ID was up there in that Croissant. The 8th ID, the main contingent of the 8th ID, the 8th Infantry Division was right there in Bonn. So our laundry platoon had to go out quite often. And so we had a record. Before they changed the TOE, we had a record. And I was the only 63 whiskey there in the unit, and I was assigned to the record. How long have you been in Germany when the incident, we'll call it, occurred? Well, let's see. The incident occurred during May 82, so let's say September. Let's say almost 3 years. So you've been there almost 3 years. And then what sends you out on this retrieval, on this mission? You get a phone call. Okay, I'll lay it out for you. The 29th Flight Service Company, they're on record. They're adopted task to support the 11th ACR, which is the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, their Kansas, Germany. And they control the one phase of one man, pull the gap. Right, pull the gap. That's where people always speculated a war between Russia and the first ground units would come across. That's where it would all begin. That's right. Okay. So we're getting that channel line there. At almost 30, 0600 there, I guess it was. I don't remember that. But, I was still outside the tent when we heard this big, huge bang in the thud. You could feel the vibration right underneath your feet. And I was still outside the door of the tent, like I said, I managed to wheel my way through the channel line. Everybody's wondering what that was. So I'm sitting down, I'm just about ready to dig into that wonderful Army SOS when the first sergeant came up to me and he says, "We gotta go see the CO now." What rank were you at that point? Do you recall? E4. E4 on E5 list. Right. All right. Sure. And so the first sergeant said, well, obviously when the first sergeant tells you to jump, you jump. That's right. So I went. And it's like when you get into the CO's tent, they understand we were out in the field, so we got everything within a tent. Right. And so I went to the CO's tent, and he's on the phone with these people. I had no idea who was on the phone. CO hung up the phone. He told me to go get my record ready and stand by. And so I went out, I fired it all up, and everything else, everything was okay. And I'm sure you're thinking, you're probably, were you relating it to the boom at that point, thinking, well, maybe I'm going to go get whatever it is to go down? Not at this particular junction, because there was a lot of jumping around there because you had a lot of recovery to do because people were getting stuck up there and everything. Right. But the first argument was unusual, but not conviction yet. Okay, so then the 48 maintenance directors coming in, and instead of saying the record, can I say it? Can I just call them? Can I say it for a second? Yeah. Okay, his name was Mike. Okay. And so anyway, you have a really let me stop you. You have a really good memory. I take it that the call to you so you can remember Mike's last name, no problem. Yeah, Mike and I are still friends today. Oh, he is on doing this. Well, Mike, all right, anyway. Okay, so Mike and I were standing up and learning what's going on. And did you get to it? And so that's 2 helicopters flying. Now, this time now, probably not not too far from and I mean, anyway. Yeah. So, anyway, these 2 helicopters flying. And there are people jumping out the helicopter and running the tools. Okay, we still have to raise the strength about the tools. And the way that these people are, no one was something illegal. Not the boxers at all. No one was something like that at all. And the officer that was in the helicopter, he comes over to us and says, and because we have the other very nice home, and they can only travel 15 to 20 miles an hour on going cross country. And sitting on the ground. Okay, I personally call it just like single field. Okay, okay. Well, you can put it down there. I mean, just a guess, I guess. Well, when you put it on the flat, the flat is never going to have that because of the length. When you shoot it on the flat, okay, what they do, you stretch flat, or they stretch it out because the tire moves, okay, it has to be 50 feet. Okay. And so the width of this thing was about 50 feet wide. And so we're going in there, so we do it. Well, after we got around the ground, I like to call it an oval triangle. Because the triangle is from around up to the jump. And if that's what you have, if the nose of the thing was very straight down into the dirt, that's your triangle. It was very right down into the dirt. What so much of it was buried? Yeah, all right. That's a lot. So there was a lot of that back in the dirt. That's for what? Right. That's for what? And it was very good. Because at the last 100 yards or so, I mean, it took a trench. It took a trench when you went in and with a bulldozer for a couple of days to get a pile of dirt. You know, the backs were, and the rain came up with the high bank. And I mean, there was roots all over the place and everything else. It was just incredible, the destruction of the thing. How many personnel on the scene at this point? Well, at this point, the people in the booth that I have, and the guys in the Jeep, and Mike and I, was about 20. All right. There's about 20, and we all walked up there. We all walked up to where this craft was. And that's when we saw the bodies. That's when we saw the bodies. The bodies were completely on the left side of the craft. And it was like they were trying to walk out of the craft and then they just fell dead in their tracks. And there was a strong smell of ammonia protruding from these bodies. Right, and you didn't say that last time. No, because I forgot about it. It smelled like ammonia, huh? Yes, there was a strong smell of ammonia. They walked off the craft, people are coming with the atmosphere, and so, I mean, I'm not just saying that's why, but like, well, there was something out you obviously needed further. They weren't staggered, ready in the line. The first one away was about 35 to 40 feet. Okay, and the closest one was about 5 feet. All right. And he was trying, and he was right up against the bank. And I'm assuming he just went out of gas when he tried to climb up the bank. Because the other ones were able to get up the bank. All right, so they were scattered about how many? 5 of them. 5 bodies. 5 bodies. Each one was right there. All right, now back to Richards, who's at a very public place right now on the road and trying to get the story out there. Again, good job of that. You are back on the air. And so here, this craft is halfway into the earth. You've got bodies, 5 of them screwed out and taken from there. After the clear was given, they had to bring in a radiation team to check for radiation. And now you're well into the day now. So everything's well into the day. They had to wait for the body bags. We had the electricity to remove our gas masks. That's how we do the smell of ammonia. And, if you got too close to these things, your throat will start to burn, your nostrils, everything. When you're too close to ammonia, you're going to hurt off your feet. I have basically put it out. So the guys that were putting the bodies in a formation type, they put them in the body bags, so had to wear their gas masks. What kind of bodies are these? These are the guys that were in just regular soldiers there. E3s, E4s, these guys from different units, they just sent out there to help. Right. And where are these people who did nothing to me at this point? Well, they're the ones giving out the orders. They're down there giving a close inspection of the craft. Right. And there was 3 of them. Okay. One of the guys was under the body, the other one was over here talking to a bulldozer driver at this time. And the other one was over here talking to Mike and I how they wanted to do this. And you need to retrieve the printer. Right. All right. How do you go about it? Well, first of all, the bulldozer had to dig away some of it, had to dig away some of the earth, and had to make a trail so the wreckers could come in there. And you got to keep in mind something. People will say, well, why do you need helicopters? Well, you're talking about wooded areas. You're talking about fir trees that are 50 to 60 to 70 feet high. So, the chopper wouldn't be very effective. So, we had to wait for the bulldozer to get to where we get the wreckers in position. Meanwhile, Mike and I, we had to take our stage shovels and we had to dig underneath the crash so we could put sleds on people. We didn't want to use any metallic like a hook or a chain or anything like that. We wanted to just use our canvas sleds. So they had to bring them in special. Okay, so we really most of the day for the body bags and stuff. There was a lot of time in between, right? Right. Okay. I asked this pretty deeply. What we not saying we got talk about? We had a little time to talk. I mean, you must have said, what the hell are we doing? Very hard. I mean, you really it's a backwards country boy from Maine, grew up on a dairy farm, and I'm thrust into this situation right here. I know that I had to repeat my name over and over and over again. I had to help my country make sure I'm still the white police. And Mike was just taking it in stride. Yeah, right, he was. Did he punch you? Yes, yeah. All right, so anyway, you guys, do you know what you're dealing with? I mean, obviously, these are not well, what that is. I'm going to say that the initial news release was F4 aircraft. It's great now. This is not an F4 aircraft. They say something like my little East Coast. They said something French. They said F4. Right. And it's like a little East Coast. God. All right. The tribe has observable these creatures. Okay. Now, I live a little closer than 4 or 5 feet of these things. Pretty close. Yeah, exactly. And one of them was laying down on it. It was outside, like it was face down in the dirt. They were gray color. And they had like a small pumpkin. Their fingers were skinny and long. Mm-hmm. And they had black suits on. Black suits, yes, black suits, black skin tight suits. Like some of your aerobic workers. Yeah. It's there you go. That's what I see. That's what I was trying to do before I was doing it. So then you're concerned with where skin color was from seeing being a face or okay, that's just they were gray. And they had black meat colored suits on. And the one that was on the side had this on his chest. Because here is where right. I mean, I'm familiar with this Cyrillic alphabet, the Russian alphabet, the backwards letters, you see hieroglyphics and everything else, but this is nothing I've ever seen. It just looked like some kid had threw a design on there in the story. Sort of like just a scribble design? Yeah, well, I'm sorry, I don't have the vocabulary to put this into words, and still to this day, it gets, it upsets me when I speak about it. They're freaking me out. Would you take a piece of paper and in your mind, could you draw something that would approximate it? I could. Okay. Because I've seen it for every day for the last 20 years. I hear you. All right. So you went busy trying to extract. Right. So the other piece would have to come in. He would only come in with a body bag. And he had these checks with him too. And they were metal coffins, okay? Right. They were the metal coffins that they checked. Right. And they had ice. So we had to go up there and help them because they had our straps in there too. So that's when I got close to the bodies. Right. And when I was unloading the deuce and a half, and that's when I was right there with the bodies, right? And then that's when I had them all in formation and everything else. Then I got out of there. Because I couldn't stand you long, and I don't want to put that damn gas back on. Back on. All right, so you're out of there. You're back to your job. Yes, and I'm back at my job. I got this link. Meanwhile, the guys are putting the bodies in ice and filling them up with ice. And they put them on the deuce and a half, off the deuce and a half land. And then Mike and I, we grabbed our shovels. And we were figuring out, because, that's our MLS. Right. We're figuring out how are we going to do this. Well, obviously, we couldn't do that. The thing we were going to have to do is just lift it up and turn it. So the flatbed comes back right underneath it. So the flatbed. That was the game plan. All right. So we had to dig underneath the craft so we could put the swing underneath there. And both Mike and I, we got space shovels and we're by ourselves. And so the guys come over and they called it a day for this day. They brought in jets. They weren't going to let nobody leave. And they called in other guys and they set up tents and everything else for it. They brought in chow, home, and the whole 9 yards. We had to spend the night in a tent there too. We weren't allowed to go back to our garrison. We weren't allowed to do nothing. Just stay right up there. Until that job was done, that's where you were. Exactly. And all the time in the tent, there's 3 of us in that one tent. We were fortunate because we had a smaller tent and they brought in the cots and we didn't break up with nobody. We were just sitting in there looking at each other. We were just wondering what's going on here. Are we, where are we? But so anyway, the next day, we're out there and we finally got underneath there where we could put the swing on each one of these things, and we positioned the records out. One nice thing about the 5-ton record is very, very versatile. It's got many purposes, many uses. Right. And by using boom supports and everything else, you can track the great creature capacity. And so this would be a first time use, so I have a feeling. First time use? Yeah. One of these. Oh, yeah. All right. Anyway, I remember when we told the story before, we talked about some truth. And you said when you got down low, when you were getting it, you actually got sort of wants you to part of the craft. Okay, now the left side, when you're looking at it from behind, the left side, which is the same place where the people came out. Okay? Right. And you can call them extraterrestrials, I just call them people. And anyway, there was these 5 inch in diameter tubes coming out of the site because there was a gas in there. And I'm just assuming my own personal assumption that this happened when I kicked in big fir trees. Well, the gas in the track, how big was that? Oh, it went down into the dirt, obviously, but the part that was showing was about 20 feet. Where these beings would come out or... Well, no, beings would come out of the gas. Oh, they do? No, beings come out of the door. A door, all right. So this was a separate opening, unintended opening. Yeah, because the trees, I'm just assuming that the trees caused it. Okay, and there was no burn marks or nothing like that. All right, and you did get one little sort of up in there. Well, you really had to lay down on the ground, like you had to touch the dirt and look up and find. And all I could see from where I was, from my vantage point, because most of the gas was down inside the dirt, but the tubes were coming out of the dirt, out of the ground, and this green ooze coming out of it, and it looked gushing out of there like a fire hose. It just dripping out of there. You could smell anything? Well, it did smell, but it was very luminescent at night. You could see the trail coming back in for about 150 yards out to the sea, where it had touched on the trees, and it was dripping off one of the trees and the river. Yes. So, the troops were out there, and I mean, they weren't any kind of sport or anything like that. They were all over the place. But what I could see from up inside, personally, with my mechanical background, with my knowledge, and I personally thought that this was the engine. And what you can see up inside there was this great big market. I mean, to the dark inside here, right? So you can understand that, right? I didn't shine my flashlight up there underneath there because I was in grandmother's. Right? Because my ear was right down to the dirt when I was taking one eye and being able to look outside stuff. The tube out and you got really barely see how big it was. Right. But what I could see, it was huge. Any details you were able to got at all? Was it just a giant empty room? No, it wasn't empty. I mean, there was slightly machinery in there. Some kind of machinery. That's what I'm saying. There was some kind of machinery in there. I mean, I'm lost with my vocabulary again. And so no grinding gears or anything like that. So it was just, it looked like just an engine room. An engine room with a face on it, with a face on it. Okay? What I'm talking about, not a face, bulkhead thing. There you go. Bulkhead, right. Okay? And then at the edge of the bulkhead, there was this machinery. Okay? And it was like, I've never seen nothing like this before in my whole entire life. I mean, it didn't resemble a 454 Chevy. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's fine. So, anyway, your main job, you obviously were able to finally lift this thing all the way out. Right. And obviously that what you were able to see very clearly in shape, right? Exactly. Because meanwhile, when we're up there, we got guys with drones on top of this thing trying to pick off the dirt. And one thing I didn't mention before too was that whenever you get this thing with a shovel, yes. I mean, just because I did that a couple of times. I know it would have the nick in it, so you could actually bring the shovel back out, and the nick was gone. Right. The nick would be totally gone. I mean, like I said, in other words, like it's very, very flexible. It's sort of reshaped itself. No, I didn't want to say that, but again, that's right. The shape of the craft, though, when you had it fully up, and you could really take a good look at it as it was going to the flatbed. You would again describe it as a triangle. As a triangle. But with those rounded edges. Right. It was an oval triangle. Okay. It was an oval with a point with like. Okay, no, I can draw like. And it's really nice. You know, roll it up and make yourself an oval, and then one end and try to stretch that out a little bit. And it was catchy. It was a triangle. I was like, no, I don't know how to do that. There you go. I just did it myself. I know what it was like. Right. And it's I'd say probably 10 feet tall. 10 feet tall at the tallest point. And it narrowed down to about 6 feet tall in the nose. All right, you already given me one very unusual thing about its makeup, its metal or whatever it was. It was shiny skin. And it was shiny. Shiny like stainless steel. I mean, there was no burn marks or anything on it, but it was shiny like stainless steel. That's my word, Art. Have there been any apparent fire? No. There was no burn marks on it whatsoever. I mean, there wasn't a scratch on this thing. Except for the gas that was on the side where the tubes were coming out. Mm-hmm. And that's where some of the metal, so there must have been some debris that. Yes, there was. About the last 50 yards or so, there was debris from the first or second tree. That's why I'm assuming that the gas happened because of the trees, because the fir trees are going to stand there. What happened to the smaller pieces of metal? Well, that's why the troops were out there picking them up. They were doing police call. One of the can I call them government gurus? If you wish. Okay, one of the government gurus was out there instructing them to pick up every little piece, no matter how many little pieces that little trash bags to put in. I mean, to say the least, and they had probably 20 guys out there. Look like they had a whole platoon out there picking up these little big pieces and putting them in big bags. No pieces are left. And so anyway, Mike and I, we got the craft up. We had to spread it around. So one of us had to drop our record. One of us had to drop our egg. After we got it out of the dirt, after they got all the dirt off of it and everything else. And I had to take my record around with slings filled up. And I spun it around. Mike came around with his spoon and then he lifted it up. And so we're sitting there. And then the flatbed backed right under the spoon. And then we dumped it right down onto the flatbed. And it took them at least 2 hours to start this thing because it was too oversized for the flatbed. And they had to wait for, I'm assuming that they had to wait for clearance and everything else to take it down the Autobahn. That was the main core thing they were going to do. They had to go right down the Autobahn? Oh, well, that's what I'm assuming. They had to take it down. How old are they going to get it down there? They're taking it to them. He's playing on truck. Yeah, I've seen a lot of weird stuff around the interstate. It's always covered with park, you know. So I what do we got? They had to go with 2x4s. Something that they do in the silhouette. I mean, the truck was on a craft. It was on 2x4s. They were constructing something that takes away the silhouette. So they can transport it down the highway. And we're there enjoying it so late because now we're in the third day. The time this is all going on and everything else. And they were waiting for darkness to take that thing out of there. I mean, they took it out into the field and they had an empty perimeter around this whole area. And they didn't want to work at night because they didn't want to draw attention to it. So, hey, I'm just assuming that, you know? Hey, I didn't know that. I know these things. And so anyway, I'm right, don't worry about it. Just look at the story online, online. So anyway, at the end of the third day, we wanted a medication. Okay, now these are, I'm assuming they're government gurus too. These guys are specialists. You know, they want this all in. They got two bulldozers in there now. They're covering the hole. They're taking the trees away. I mean, they cut them off. You know, chainsaws. They're taking the trees away. And outside. I mean, this is the whole thing. Were there also going to do that? Were there officers of rank there? Yes, there were officers there. Of what rank? One of the older colonels. One of the older colonels. And he was directing he was directing a matter, he was in and out. He was also, he was in and out. All right. Hold it right there. Can you hold on? Sure. All right, hold on. And all I guess is going to get pushed a little bit. So everybody just hang in there. I want to get this story start to finish. Very carefully. That's what we're doing right now. All right, we're going to be just pushing guests as we have to get this done. We have updates coming from Richard Seal on the incredible story, not only from the NRA, coming up immediately following this right now. And then, of course, James Little, and I know I'm saying that wrong, after that. So we're trying to get it all done. Bear with us, everybody. This is important. All right, Deep, you're back on the air again. All right. All right, Deep, a few questions for you. Is there any way that you could approximate or guess the weight of the craft? Well, the flatbed trailer that they brought in there was a tri-axle, and the wreckers were growing even under the tilt. So, and even with the pulling supports on there and everything else, it increases the wrecker weight to about 15,000 pounds each. Okay. So that record's growing, and just the gas are. Right. I would say anywhere between 20 to 30,000 pounds. All right, thanks. That's all I wanted to get. Some people are saying, well, if you hit it with a shovel and it sort of prepared itself and resealed itself, like with the gas in there. That's right, a big hole. Well, maybe the gas was too big, too repair itself because it still weighs on the matter. I never still weighs on the matter. You just make an indentation. When you hit it with the shovel, you know when you're taking a little small speed, trusting it up, because you understand, I mean, I deal with four topsoil there with a lot of roots and everything else, so I got to trust it down there with my roots and everything else. So when I'm trusting it up underneath there, obviously it's going to make a mark there on the other side of the crack. All right. Were there any German authorities on the site? None. No, this was speaking German there. This was all American all right. All military. They had an MP, they had an MP for, and about this time after everything was coming down, anybody there recording this with on film or anything. So there wasn't recording. Yes, there was. They were taking pictures and everything. Okay. I've done a number of questions. I would you got to eventually close this out, but a number of questions for you. Why, after all these years, an obvious question, are you deciding to tell this story now? Well, I've lived with this for 20 years, and you look at something like this for 20 years, you want to get it done, you get it off your chest. But this story needs to be told. And I've been out of the military now since '89, and you hear a lot of things, everything about the government secrecy and everything else. But we have to have secrecy. We have to have it for national security related issues. For something like this, it needs to be told. They're out there.
All right. Once this entire operation was concluded, Steve, was everybody rounded up?
Yes, everybody was rounded up. We had to drive back to the garrison area. We weren't allowed to speak to anybody. We were put onto a bus out of the field area, right, and shipped up the hill to the 11th APR concern. So the 11th APR was where they had the barracks and everything, right? And we were put into one barracks. It was the first and the 13th. And we were on the first floor, and he put us all in there. And when the forward colonel come walking in, and this was our debriefing. And, well, I call it debriefing. What? I didn't say the line there.
Okay, what did they say to you?
Right, well, the colonel would come up there, and he'd pause for a moment, and he'd say, okay, gentlemen, he said, what you've seen here today is not to be spoke of outside this room. You're not to speak of it amongst yourselves to nothing or nobody, not even your wives, not even your grandchildren. And he says to do so, you will be subject to UCMJ, which is Uniform Code of Military Justice. And I was not going to take the clip when you were away for 20 to 30 years in Fort Leavenworth. And while he's doing that, the government gurus are putting, I didn't mention it, we had to sign a security agreement. And so, and then he goes on with this.
Did you read what you signed?
I didn't. He just sign them. He told us this is a security agreement with the United States government, and I'm just summarizing it for you. He said, well, this is on a need-to-know basis, gentlemen, and I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was nobody in this room or outside this room that has a need-to-know basis. So in other words, just keep your mouth shut, sign the papers, and forward.
All right. Again, give me the exact date of this crash and the subsequent 3 days.
The date is hard to put down. It happened in late September during reclosure. Because we had been up there in the field for about 2 weeks here after this had happened. So I would say,
late September of 1982 during reclosure that day. That would have been done pretty well, right? How far, do you remember how far into reclosure it was?
Yeah, I mean, it was about, I'd say, a good 10 days, right in the thick of things. Right in the thick of things of reclosure.
All right, so you signed the security agreement. Everybody probably had the hell scared out of them, I guess.
Yeah, and at that time, I'm still a kid. And we're still girls. I have to stand up there. He's telling me that he's speaking in a real firm voice. And he's playing, and he's dealing with life.
Yes.
And that was basically it. I never spoke of the incident until I wrote it down on paper and faxed it to you.
You jumped for that. So one way you got through, and then finally you connected to the landline. All right. A couple of additional things. You kept in contact and still are in contact with your friend, Mike?
Yes, I am.
So he's available to back up what you say, or it's not?
Well, I don't even know I'm doing this.
If you were confronted, let's say, you could either back up your story, or he would pull you a security agreement.
Well, I don't know if you tell me, or see if I could threaten him with that.
All right. There are 20 people, you say, in the end, had knowledge of this, direct knowledge, having seen it perhaps, and
15 to 60 people.
how many?
15 to 60.
50 to 60.
Right, 50 to 60, and most of them were just ordinary soldiers.
We would like these people to know.
I'm not counting the government gurus and the officers.
Well, there was lots of 15 to 60 other either enlisted or officers.
Right. Well, they were also, yeah, the 50 to 60 were all soldiers. They were from various companies, from 93rd to 48 to 29. And our sister company was there to the 24th.
So if you were to appeal right now, which is what you can do, to be very exclusive, you appeal to what groups. I would like anybody out there who hears this deal to email me, artwell@mindspray.com, ARTWELL@mindspray.com, and what you appeal to send me an email about your story.
I would appeal to anybody that was in the 29th Appliance Service Company, station bondholder. Anybody in the 24th Appliance Service Company, I would appeal. Anybody in the 293rd Combat Engineers, and anybody in the 48th Maintenance. And anybody that was in the tent that morning that heard that loud bang in the butt. And anybody that knows about this, all right, please contact Art. Please.
All right, I want to additionally inform you that Dr. Stephen Greer, Chief Study, and a man named Dr. Sam Friedman, who's a nuclear physicist in this sort of thing, both would like to contact you. And also Linda Moulton-Howe. Linda Moulton-Howe is like that her on my show. They all would like to speak to you. And I have, of course, your cell phone. So with your permission,
currently right now, I'm going to do the Department of the Interior, the state of Maine, and I'm going down to North Carolina to get some large enough pass to introduce them to some of the lakes up there. Because we have a very poor large enough pass. Oh, well, that'd be great. So when I get home, I mean, they can call me on my home phone number, and I just got that phone hooked up.
But I do have your cell number.
Yes.
That would be all right too, right?
Yes.
You know, sir, I want to make sure I have permission. Now, you guys identified where you work now. That was up to you. You just,
That's not a problem. I don't care. I mean, you know, if they wanted to figure out, all they would have to do is just go back to my military record, find my address in Maine, go see my folks. My folks go, oh, he works for the Department of Interior in Maine.
so what do you think the repercussions of what you're doing right now might be?
I don't know. I don't really know. And I'll tell you the truth, I mean, 20 years, I mean,
How old are you now?
39.
I'm sorry?
Well, 39 May 1st.
39 May 1st.
Yeah, the end of the world's coming 1 year away.
Think so? 40, that's right. Well, so, everything you told me, is there anything that I've missed that was important or critical?
No, everything there. I just wanted to remind you about the ammonia. I forgot to tell you about the gas tax and the ammonia. I actually went to a 7-page tax.
All right, no sufficient. You get me interested. All right, my friend. I'm going to pass this on to people who know how to investigate this sort of thing, and they'll be in touch with you, and they'll be very nice. They're not Nazi inquisitors, so they'll just ask you some questions, and they'll go over the background of having heard all of this tonight. All right?
One more thing, Art.
Yes, please.
You guys out there that know about this, please contact Art. If anything, just do it for a fellow soldier. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pete. Good night. Thank you, Eric. Holy smokes. So, what are you doing all that? Well, now it's going to get turned over to the people in the girls. And we'll see where it goes. But that was a lot of detail. That was a lot of accuracy. And I think that moved them there. I don't know, it's like everything else. We submitted to you, the listener, and in this case, others. And we'll see where it goes. And I think you just heard a very important story. Now we're going to switch gears. We're going to be doing a lot of that gear switching tonight. And we're going to get an update on what's going on down at the bottom of the world. It sure is a sort of a mixed-up situation in America. One story after another, one story contradicting another, even for the websites that are down there. It's incredibly confusing. The lead story nationally right now is about the rescue of a doctor in Antarctica, who I recall Richard saying didn't particularly want to be rescued at all. Here, once again, is Richard Steele continuing with the story, and I don't know what's going on there. One reading I read to the administration already, huh? The last guest was
kind of an interesting segue to this because it's now turning into a possible UFO story. Remember the story I told you from NPR on the NPR website from Andrew Harris, who was a science correspondent for NPR. He was at McMurdo in December of 2000, which was 2 months ago, right? And there was this big rumor going around the day that they were going to have a major UFO landing sometime imminent. And he even found a poster. Well, while he was there, apparently, I'm sorry, what year was this? It was December of 2000. Just before the turn of 2001. So it's a couple of months ago. Which is kind of the wind up of summer down there. The summer cold season ends in February. So this was, coming to a close of the
I think that was a rumor. I guess if somebody asked this subject, you never know how rumors get started. But I mean, this is a big one. I don't know what's going to last like this.
I know what's fun and curious is the Harris report says that the rumor itself on base is controlled. There is no free press. It is government. It is the U.S. government running the place. This is a town with 1,200 people during the summer, 85 buildings, hangars and astrophysical observatories and camera labs and, people looking at penguins and things like that. Right. So it's a major small town, but it's run by the National Science Foundation through Raytheon Polar Services. And Harris made a point to say that the official news, what they see on their local TV, what they see on their webcasts, what they see in the little handwritten newspapers, is all government control. So he said that the major source of news for people is a rumor mill, which is not controlled. And then he goes on and tell you the story of a major UFO landing over the biggest place in Antarctica sometime in December. And then he said he found this poster, which I wish he'd send me a copy because I like to see what it looked like. And then when they found the culprit, when the authorities, found the culprit, what do? They deported the guy back to New Zealand. They kicked him off the continent.
Yeah, he actually, they deported him, right?
Yeah. And this is on the official NPR website. I'm not used to things for National Public Radio. I have friends that are, and I places at NPR, and NPR doesn't kind of sit around. So, why was this rumor going around? That was kind of the back of my mind. Well, last night we talked about that the 11 Americans have been flown by the Hercules, the Royal New Zealand Air Force Hercules, successfully on a $7.5 flight back from McMurdo to Christchurch. And the four, injured, whatever you want to call it, Americans, have been put into the hospital in Christchurch. And we have our source, all our sources now, we have in New Zealand reporting to us on an almost hourly basis. One of the problems are is, it's the other side of the world. So the real looks for the future will really sweep their away. And that's been one of the interesting things to get used to here. Anyway, the hospital reported last night that they had lost the critically ill patients.
Did they actually report it?
So I've got a direct quote. In fact, let me go back in my emails here. I'm going to pull up the proper email from one of our key sources.
These were two of the personalities reported last night that were critically ill to state.
According to Raytheon's John Shreve, who is the kind of the personnel commander of the mission, he confirmed that two of the personnel were in Christchurch Hospital in, quote, critical but stable condition, and added that they were expected to pull through. But down further in my source's email, he says there is currently some confusion within the hospital on exactly where the critically stable patients are. Now, how the hell do you lose, critical ill patients who are on the focus of worldwide attention?
Don't you normally have critically ill patients in critical care wards?
Probably in the, what they call it, the care facility.
Or when you're very close to watch, monitor.
I don't know. You can't explain away. People coming in and out, taking your blood, your temperatures, all kinds of stuff like that. And or being taken to a place of isolation, a factory. So for the film. And we say, and when I, walk on the scene to get my what's going on from my sources down there, let me read for you almost word for word what came in this evening from one of my key sources. Because this thing was going from abnormal and anomalistic to bizarre.
Honestly, we're not gonna have time before the break, so,
You like that cliffhanger?
I guess they got the doctor out, right?
The doctor was extracted, and what that term?
Extracted, yeah. The doctor's removal was more or less a cover for what else is going on.
That's exactly what this email is going to be telling us when we come back to the other side of the break. And the important thing is, even when you heal it, the doctor can't work well. The here's that's supposed to be desperately ill with pancreatitis, that's gallstones. My grandmother, when we were all, kids growing up, he had gallstones, and believe me, everybody who's ever had a relative of them didn't see some nightmare.
All right, understood. Hold it right there, we'll be right back. And sorry for the cancer, any description of the anything he was allowed to examine at age 51? I recall him describing a series of tubes which comprise part of that engine. Sounds a lot like what he was designing, doesn't it? Maybe you ought to get David Adair back on your show. And then the other part of it was the touch of the craft itself. Remember what David Adair said about that? We'll be right back. 800-218-3527. 1-800-218-3527. That's 1-800-218-3527. I don't have confirmation at all, Ricky. No confirmation of it, but somebody named Spencer in Kansas City flashes me, fast me, that BBC Radio USA just reported that the International Space Station's main computers are down. That's some sort of software problem. That's an unconfirmed report. That flashed to me just now. Once again, Richard Seal. Richard?
Yeah, I heard this morning that they were having problems with the computer manipulating the new Canada arms and taking up on the current show and the access station.
Oh,
So that's sort of the Galaxy software environment.
one never knows.
One never knows. Anyway, back to New Zealand. This just gets spoiler and spoiler. Let me read verbatim from the email from one of our sources, and everybody can sort this out for themselves, but it's going in a very interesting direction.
Okay.
He said, yesterday I had a friend in U.S. Intel tell me a few things. I didn't let on what I knew, as I wanted them to tell me what they knew. What came back is interesting, to say the least. At first, I thought they were talking about the flight that had just taken place. That's the Hercules from the 11 Masters, the first airlift. But now I know they were talking about the second flight. That's the rescue doctrine took place today. Right. I was told that all board the plane, remember, it was a Havilland Hour which seats 8 people, were 4 to 6 boxes of Arctic climbing, surveillance, and communications gear. And that this had something to do with the lake area. Something I hadn't mentioned to them, so they weren't replying to any questions I asked about the lake. Instead, that the 6th Doctor was just a cover, and that a 4-man team was going into the equipment and will stay the winter in Antarctica. Apparently, one of the teams is an Arctic intel specialist from Nova Scotia, running special for Arctic surveillance duty. The inference is that they found something in the lake. As they mentioned that a government UFO specialist of long standing was being transferred as part of the team.
Now, this is beginning to sound like the thing, Richard.
Doesn't it?
Yes, it sounds like the thing.
The combination of the thing, 2001, and how many of the Israel movies. Okay, now let me go to their second email, because this is important. This now puts a few, dots on some I's and some crosses on some T's.
Has anybody found the critically ill patients yet?
Okay, this is from the email. Haven't heard a word where the other 7 are, only the boys that are in hospital. News bulletin that I saw tonight showed the flight path of the second plane, and they had reached the stopover point before going on to Chile. I did find it really odd that the second mercy mission wasn't mentioned here whatsoever until after it was all over. The only thing that I approved before was the doctor now didn't want to be airlifted. So that is some kind of impression. There might not even be a second flight. It's almost as if they want people to focus on the other one, meaning the one that brought out the 11 Americans yesterday, and not the second one, which of course, as we know now, did take place. Because of the that one and not the other one, they carried all the surveillance equipment and the force that was true. They probably don't want much attention on that particular flight.
But I go back to these patients. We still actually don't know where these critical patients are.
Nope. There has been no further word on the hospital has told them.
How in God's name can they just disappear?
Well, what I'm waiting for is an email from our second source, who is an excellent reporter, who has connections with all the mainstream media, right, and the government officials.
I mean, all of this was reported, it was all mixed up. It was reported relentlessly about these critically ill people. You don't know which way to exactly.
What was critically ill people? I like there, as this story says, a cover to lead people off the trail of the real story, which is the doctor who doesn't want to go home, even though he's so desperate to go. Now, let me know. I didn't fill you in on this info yesterday about the drop-off of the UFOs. I wanted to see if I could corroborate it from other sources. I never, ever tell them what I want to hear. I let them tell me. Yesterday, I was waiting on the 2 other contacts to see if the stories match. And they do. I've also just heard back from 2 of the 10 sources, and both have independently told me that the UFO was/is a dragon snake type. Now, do you know what the hell that means?
No, Richard, I don't have any idea.
No, that's what this person is asking me.
I see.
I'm sure I've heard that name somewhere before, but I have to do a search to see if I can find a reference, as I can't recall anything specific. They said it drives on the ice and slides right through it. Does that make any sense? That's all I know for now. One of the sources, sure as heck, didn't want to mention dragon snakes, but I went on, and finally he told me. That also matches what the other one told me, so either they're both lying, or they're both right. So we've escalated now to where we're dealing with a possible circular artifact. Now the question, of course, I have is it present, is it current, or is it ancient? You understand where I'm going?
Well, of course, I would know.
In other words, we are seeing things in our skies now. We just had a man on describing something that crashed 20 years ago.
Yes.
We're dealing with a very long-term, how should I say, surveillance program.
That would do.
And they're not changing models like 57 Chevy. Then it's conceivable that if you find something buried in the ice in Antarctica, it may be of the same class because it's produced by a civilization that has a totally different time scale, and the things do not change. Once you get the physics down and the technology down, it all changes to put on new tail there.
How reliable do you consider this information to be?
Well, let me give you now the second, as Paul had you say the rest of the story.
Sure.
Remember the other night I talked to you about a source that had just sent me an email here in the States. They're based in the San Diego area.
Yes.
And said that he had a neighbor who was involved in a shipment of 20-foot crates to Miramar.
Right.
Or the Antarctic.
Right.
You got your news on that front?
No.
Okay. And this one is a little more volatile, so bear with us. You see, he says, "Hi, Richard. Oh my God." Sounds like what's his name on Hawaii. Just talk to my neighbor. This could be bigger than you think. Are you ready for this? He's taking equipment, a lot of equipment, 138 truckloads of equipment. Repeat that. 138 truckloads of equipment from Miramar to a place north by Oxnard to a place Port Tsunami. So HU.
That would be Port Wayne.
Thank you, Art. They are being loaded onto a container ship that was to ship out at midnight, 4/26, 2001, to Antarctica. He said the pressure is on because they have to finish the load for the ship by this afternoon. Richard, what are they moving a city of supplies over there for? What you'd like to know. Then he followed up a few minutes later with this one. Right?
All right.
And this one I tried to verify, we'll see how I tried to verify it. And we can't verify it yet, but we're ongoing in that process. I was in such a hurry, I almost forgot the most important thing. The first lady was there today in a White House chopper to do some kind of send-off. I'm thinking better not to mention where this came from, my friend, the neighbor, and I do not want to get him in trouble. Thanks again.
The first lady.
The first lady. So I called Steve Bassett, and I got it out there, and I said, can I get to the White House and find out if you can get me to meet First Lady Senator? And he's not telling me why I wanted it, he's telling me I thought she was.
Yeah, I bet you love that.
Oh, he did love that. So he calls me back to my friend and he says, you know, they don't publish the security reasons for our itinerary. But it's 12:30 at night, there's only a little bit else to go to. So we can't verify that she was in California this afternoon. But my friend, who I've also known for like 10 years, and was not a flighty guy, and who was just awed by what he stripped over because of the serendipity. I mean, he had no idea that I was on with this and we were going to be doing some of these updates. And he just happens to be next to a guy who's heavily involved in that. That's what we always call synchronicity, and what we call interdimensional resonance.
Okay, Richard, let's go with the things we can know. They told the second doctor to bring down salt.
The second Carlisle is the replacement doctor for Dr. Gilbert.
So on the gas fleet. Now, you interpret that now to mean probably radiation.
Well, one of your emails said, I got that you something with an iodine tablet that you were involved in a radiation therapy.
You know who else called me today? My old household called me, and she said, you know, further topics in salt would definitely be a code phrase for a radiation problem.
Fascinating.
She said, quoting, in the nuclear industry.
Exactly. Wonderful then, okay? Because we have a post up tonight with an update with some of the material in it.
Yeah.
And from our sources, we were told the same thing. That if they code phrase in the industry for basically copper iodine tablets. So that means they have a radiation problem. Now, where does the radiation come from? No. UFOs do not use nukes. Okay, boys and girls, that's not what they do. They have much more advanced sophisticated physics and technology. US technology uses nukes. And as I explained on the show last night, since the 1960s, our government, the Atomic Energy Commission, Los Alamos, the big national labs, have been involved in the development of a nuclear warning device, Tetrasarc, which could go through solid rock at the rate of 6 miles per hour.
Right, you did explain.
Yeah, they have that number last night on our website. Well, I want to credit to the founders. Doing a lot of this work in the book on underground basis. They did a tremendous amount of work in digging out the actual documents. And now we know the time has come. Where they're going to be basically relevant to the issues at hand. If they have what, a SNAP 100 reactor, you familiar with that reactor?
No.
That's the one that the Lewis Research Center, now renamed with John Glenn Research Center by Cleveland, have been working on quietly for several years for a landmark mission. It was a reactor program that one of the congressmen investigated in the House of Representatives back when I truly resigned suddenly as the administrator of NASA.
Yes.
Because.
But I'm trying here to stick with what we know.
Well, no, this reactor would be small enough and portable enough to put in a Hercules aircraft and fly to the Antarctic to basically put together as a nuclear subterranean to melt through the ice to get something underneath. You put all these dots together. We've got the NPR story on the UFO rumor for December. We've now got my sources, information that Intel people are telling her. We've got guys going in under the cover of the Take Out the Doctor story to look at a UFO, basically. We've got radiation possible poisoned people being airlifted in an emergency evac situation to Christchurch, where they have been lost in a hospital with a stuff that big.
Impossible.
And finally,
And no statement on their conditions.
no statement of
Not so much as one word, I assume, from either our government, any a branch or part of our government, or Raytheon, right?
nothing.
When they're asked, what do they say?
Apparently, they're saying no comment. They are hiding behind the New Zealand privacy laws, even though these are not New Zealand citizens, they're American citizens. They work for a company which is being paid by U.S. tax dollars money and a national science foundation project around the world. Now, let me give you this one. This is the one that kind of puts the icing on the cake for me. As you know, there were two separate airlifts. There was the New Zealand airlift of the 11 Americans out yesterday.
Correct.
And then there was the Canadian airlift with the Otters, the Island Otter, which is a light aircraft, an engine aircraft. Today, the doctor supposedly back to Chile. That was managed by a company called Borax Air out of Canada. Yesterday, MSNBC ran a story, in fact, it's on the MSNBC website, where they quote from the general manager about what they were involved in. And I mean, this isn't going to blow you away, Art. He said, quote, "We might as well be on Mars."
Well, right.
Now, if we're dealing with people finding high technology and a crash program to send, people in to nail down reconnaissance and communications during the dead of winter down there,
Yes.
and a major container ship followed with 138 truckloads of gear, which has to leave tomorrow night at midnight, which is probably one day after my birthday, which was tonight.
Well, happy birthday. You are, there's so much going on. My mind. And so, based on what we know versus, some of your dots are lighter than other dots, right? Some of them are very heavy dots, and the heavy dots are what we know. The trouble is, connecting them doesn't bring us anywhere. In other words, about the number of people who got sick. Then the stories of people coming out for personal reasons too, and that one doesn't make any sense to me.
Frankly, I was reporting 2 days ago when some reporter asked why the other 7 came out and the report were ill.
Right.
The spokesperson of this street guy said, "Oh, we were all sick."
Oh, please. They had just begun their winter down there.
These are highly paid contract workers. The U.S. government pays a fortune to screen them.
Excuse me, but these dots don't connect.
To equip them.
Yeah, these dots do not connect.
To replace them. No, that's what he said. It is on the DA website from 2 days ago. My source one of my sources in New Zealand said that when asked by a New Zealand reporter what was wrong with all the tour, he was told he had a broken leg.
She had a broken leg.
A broken leg.
Now, everyone, anything like this would be cured on the spot. You wouldn't do that.
Independent television last night, New Zealand time, interviewed one of the four. They found one of the four, all right?
Right.
And interviewed him in a hospital bed. In that hospital.
Yes.
He was a fireman, supposedly.
Yes.
He supposedly had very active head trauma. Except on camera, he had no bandages, he had no bruises, no contusions, he spoke coherently, and he hadn't shaved his head. In other words, none of this fits together. So when things don't fit together, it's like, what's wrong with the picture? The most interesting thing to me, Art, is the call for salt. Because as Linda has now corroborated, that says radiation emergency, and there are no nukes by treaty on the entire continent of Antarctica.
Right, of course.
Since 1993.
That's international. So, international search.
Well, we used to have a reactor in McMurdo, and the Navy took it out because of the environmental concerns of waste products and all that.
All right, Richard, how do we get inside this story? How do we do this? Isn't it time the major media began asking the hard questions?
Unquestionably, but it's a little difficult because they have to win away. We go back a lot of those because we really don't care about the world anymore. Even CNN does really like world coverage. This is a problem.
All right, anybody with information bearing on this directly who really knows what's going on, email me artbell@mindspring.com. And if it's relevant, I'll get it to Richard. How's that, Richard? I don't know what else we can do.
Well, let me, talk somebody.
All right, go ahead.
To 505-286. 6130.
6130.
If anybody has relevant information or documents, they can get it to me that way.
Okay, 505-286-6130.
Yep.
All right, by the way, your tax TV special, when's that coming up?
It's Friday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, 7 Central, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. And it's going to be bars, a la Sidonia, a la artifacts as you have never seen on network television.
All right, listen, we're out of time. So the rest of the story coming up as it happens. We'll just stay in touch. Richard, thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Good night. And I hope I'm doing that justice, his name, that is. James was raised in a small desert town, spending most of his time in Asia. In high school, he was captain of the water polo team, on the swim team, and experienced a wide variety of friends of all kinds. But he never separated himself in one group. College, very diverse. Studied biology, chemistry, physics, psychology, pre-law, pre-dental, yet didn't acquire a degree of practice professionally. Having diversity was more important than anything else to him, apparently, understanding all aspects of life. His work experience was also very diverse. He learned all facets of the construction industry, grocery industry, real estate industry, owned his own commercial real estate company, which developed in managed shopping centers and other large multi-million-dollar projects. He was also on the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce. He had a near-death experience, and that is a story unto itself. He's been a speaker at many events, has appeared on ABC and Fox News, King 5 Evening News Magazine, Elaine Smith, Aileen Gates, and on. He's been all over television. His articles and UFO reports have been featured by National Blend, Along with That Magazine, and UFO Magazine, I know that one, and are a regular feature by major UFO groups like Cause, Move On, and UFO Roundup, and so forth. So, obviously, a long-time ufologist. Welcome to the program, James. Thank you, Rick. I'm sorry that you're on a little late. I'm an hour late, actually. But we had two things that unwound, that we had to unwind on the program. One, and I'd like to have you comment on these. One was this incredible story of Deep Richards. He seemed to have so many details, so many facts, so many probable witnesses, and it's such an it's Roswell in Germany.
Oh, yeah.
In other words,
it does sound like that, and the facts do add up, and it'll be interesting when we get a lot more witnesses, if we get some witnesses, to corroborate his story. That'll be excellent. What's interesting is my family came out of New Mexico, and they knew a lot of the people involved in that Roswell crash. And when I talked to my grandmother about it, she knew the sheriff, and Bob Brunel, or that's right. My grandfather actually stole them his farm equipment and brought his windmills and a lot of things of that nature. And they speak very highly of everybody involved. They said they were as honest as the day is long, and they said they saw something. They saw something, and they said they were very shaken by the event when it happened. So. I have no doubt that definitely an event happened there.
Okay, and then there's other several days long story we're now following with regard to the Antarctica. I don't know how closely you've been following that one, but it's getting weirder by the minute.
There's a lot of anomalies there. There's it's almost kind of like a Bermuda Triangle, the same kind of magnetic fluctuations there.
Yes.
They may end up digging up a buried pyramid, with an activated crystal in it, and something of that nature. You never know what they're going to find.
Yeah, something could be under.
The radiation isn't making sense. It sounds like something got away from them.
There, and I don't know how you lose critical patients either.
No. No, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're really working that.
Yeah, one thing too, when you get these huge, massive solar flares and CME, those energies come bringing in right at the pole.
Right.
And so these people could be being tried by just way too much energy and magnetic fluctuation.
You know, it's interesting that you would mention that. By the way, I'm getting confirmation that all three main computers on the International Space Station have failed. We're going to follow that story as it comes in. But I've got a story here which ran in the Wall Street Journal. And this has not been, I guess you're sure there have been mainstream press, but I had never heard about it until I got this Wall Street Journal copy of the story. And what it basically says is that airlines like, for example, Northwest, which regularly flies over the pole on routes from Detroit to Beijing and Shanghai, they recently began doing these flights. They all decided to stay south of the pole and did so for about 2 weeks. United Airlines, with its Hong Kong to New York route, also avoided the established flight path closest to the pole on a few flights by taking another nearby route. Continental twice bypassed the pole on its Hong Kong flight. All of this because of solar flares. And I wonder what they told the passengers.
There's been some research too done at Stanford where they subjected monkeys to fluctuations in the magnetic field and very large fluctuations, and they exhibited behavior, everything from comatose to self-mutilation.
Really?
So,
we're all kind of monkeys.
And so, it's not, these flares, they hit the bioelectric fields around the human body. There's Russian research around this too, where people have emotional outbursts, they start projecting across. There's a lot of old wounds and traumas, and it's, that's what you refer to as the quickening, everything's coming out.
Awesome. All right. I watched your videotape tonight, Trey. So I saw what you're about to describe. Unfortunately for James, he had not one, video camcorder, but probably two, because I kept hearing people saying, "Are you getting this? Are you getting?" Did you have one out there or two?
We had actually the two landings we had one.
Landing, we have landing. So hold on, folks. We're getting ahead of our story here. Yeah, sure. We're talking about, first of all, what period of time? Represented on the videotape, what period of time? Many days, I would assume.
Well, we've got we started filming these objects last May. And I was telling people about all the UFO activity here, and nobody was believing me.
All right, now we get to the here part. Where is here? Where are you talking?
We're in Salt Lake, Washington, right at the base of Mount Adams.
Okay.
And Mount Adams has, or the Yakima Reservation, which is my luxury across the reservation. Our ranch is right next to the reservation. It has a very long history of UFO activity in sight. Dr. J.M. Hynek, Bill Vogel, and Greg Long, David Akers, they've all done a lot of research here, and their findings actually came out. They've been out for some time now. Actually, a couple of
Dog sightings near Mount Adams.
Yes, they're on the east side of Mount Adams, where they were seeing these. And it's all well documented on our website at eSETI.org.
All right, what does he say?
Now, eSETI is what stands for enlightened contact with extraterrestrials.
Sounds like CSETI, only ESETI.
Very similar. The only thing is we've taken it a step further and we've actually made contact. And we've had some very interesting things where we've got probably over 700 eyewitnesses now that have come here and seen the craft fly over and light up on command.
I must say, I haven't seen it. That is the video. I would think you're trackers right there. But folks, I saw these extremely bright objects moving as no satellite could, as no airplane could, in some cases accelerating instantly to incredible speeds. I saw one of them land on the I'm talking about Mount Adams. All of this was quite visible on the videotape. However, at no point did it become more than an extremely, at least for the video camera, an extremely bright light moving in ways that an aircraft couldn't move. That's how far I can go from what I saw on the videotape.
Exactly. We had some of this analyzed. We had, I had another kid actually thought it's way too and even more footage.
Well, James, as you were describing one of the objects, and you would call for it to brighten, I got it with brightness, and there were several witnesses there, not just you, that was the other impressive part of stuff. The object did in fact brighten. How sure are you that object was responding just to brightness?
Well, we've got 11 hours now of video footage of them flying over doing the same behavior. And after a while, when it's repeated again and again and again, so funny, we just get a light, every little group goes, light it up, and it'll get right over the range here, and then it just lights right up.
What kind of video camera would you use?
I've got a small Sony, probably the cheapest model you can get.
Well, it did very well because it even caught some of the background stars, and that made it easy in some cases to get records for how this object was moving.
Exactly. We really, we're on a shoestring budget here. Basically, we've got one Sony camcorder and two VCRs. How do we put all this together?
I see.
We're not like NASA or SETI, but we delivered the witnesses. We've got astrophysics up here, scientists, and aeronautic engineers. We even had Air Force design engineers come out and look at these ships flying over and they said, those aren't ours.
Well, I noticed at one point when you were filming one of the objects, it was particularly bright. You said, I'm watching it with one eye through the viewfinder, and my other eye is seeing more than the camera seeing. You were saying it was a gold color, and were you able to discern shade?
Well, that particular object, it morphed into as many as 4 balls, but in the naked eye, it was gold color and it kept expanding out and it would morph into 4, like a long wing with 4 lights on it. But the camcorder can only pick up 1 light, unfortunately. If you had a real nice digital camera or something of that nature, we could probably pick up a lot more detail.
Tell me what's available to be seen on your website.
On our website, we have, there's a load of information there. We have all kinds of photos that have been taken by UFO investigators and guests. The photos were all taken by other people, and there's a reason for that. And this is things will come further, but in telepathic contact that I've had for quite a while with these beings, they told me they didn't want me to try to prove that these pictures are real. So it leaves me out of the loop. I don't have to prove it because I have the people that took the pictures and their testimony to back up the events.
For some reason, I'm being taken, let me be sure I'm in the right place here. I'm being taken to something called Self Mastery Urban Institute.
Yeah, well, so click on the UFO, where it says photos.
UFOs and both contact photos and video clips. All right, video clips. Well, not example video clips. All right, I see it. I'm on my way.
Okay, then you'll start coming up with the photos.
All right.
And the video clips there. And we've got some clips of the landings. There's actually 2 landings. We've got all kinds of photos that'll fly over and things of that nature.
Well, I'll say this. The video itself was incredibly impressive. Those were not any sort of terrestrial aircraft. That's certain, and they weren't satellites. So what was left?
Exactly. Well, that one was taken 12 miles away, the landing. The mountain was about 12 miles away from us. So the sheer candle power that object was putting out and the size of it is immense. And it came over the very top of the mountain, and this is almost 13,000 foot mountain. Came over the clouds and started descending down. And descended over some sheer cliffs and rock faces, and it would be impossible for any kind of conventional vehicle to do anything like that. And people that have looked at the tape, they said the sheer candle power, there's no way you could get anything up there mobile with that much candle power.
I absolutely agree with you, and they change intensity. Sometimes they would pulse, sometimes they would simply get extremely bright and stay that way. They went through all sorts of changes, right?
Well, they would actually morph. They would tend to smaller light out, and then that one would just faded the original.
I saw that happen, as a matter of fact.
And they would morph into maybe a 3, and one could actually go to the 4, but 4 different objects were back to 1 again. So they can actually bilocate or duplicate their ship. It's phenomenal what the technology is being found. And so what we're looking at is definitely nothing, that we have.
Okay, your page is slowing down.
We should be able to take a minute and a half hits if we're going to my webmaster, but my server.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's kind of slow right now. I've got the sound of a UFO. You actually recorded the sound of a UFO, didn't you?
Yes, we did. Now, this actual recording was recorded by a very good friend of mine named Troy.
You know what, I won't check.
Oh, you didn't get it?
No, I don't think that I've yet received it. I will consult my chief helper in the other room, my lovely wife, Norma.
All right.
You set it on a CD?
No, actually, I think it was,
I believe you, I remember what it was.
Delana, is it Delana?
No, Delani is that.
Delani, yeah, Delani was actually shooting that over to you somehow.
Okay.
However she did that, I don't know.
I don't think that it made it today. Today would have been a day when it was arrived, I think. And so if we don't have it, we're going to have to play it for somebody tomorrow. Do you have a recording of that there?
No, I have it on the website, actually, where it says hear the sound of the UFO.
I know, I've been clicked on that now for about a minute and a half. Okay. We're challenging your website right now. I'm afraid.
All right.
You know what? I got it. Bless your heart, honey. Thank you. My wife just brought it to me. It didn't like, hadn't even been opened yet. I'm going to open it up right now. Voila. A CD. So after we come back from, it's a 36-second clip. And after we come back from the break, I'll be able to play this for everybody. So they did get it here. All right. How about that? How do you think and why do you think that you and your friends, and you've got a witness there who's going to get on the phone when we want to, have been blessed where you are with such frequent and incredible contact? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, what's happened is we've risen to the occasion, and there's some very strong protocols when you're dealing with these beings because they're very advanced beings, and they're also very spiritually advanced as well.
How do you know that?
Because I've seen the big face.
That's a good answer. You've seen the beings face to face.
Yes, we've had full-blown contact here. It's been going on for about 8 years, but we haven't been able to get it out or get anybody to listen to it. So we just kept documenting the evidence over and over and over.
Well, your video documentation is excellent.
Well, thank you. You've got more.
How many people have copies of this tape?
That particular tape has been shot out to probably about 40 or 50 people.
So 40 or 50 have seen this.
Exactly.
And what kind of comments do you get other than the ones I gave you?
Well, even skeptics walk away just scratching their head. And one woman watched it and she went into process, kind of really freaking out, just could not handle it. And she was in denial and a real skeptic, and after seeing the show,
A couple of the clips are like some out of close encounters of the third kind. Not quite that close, but I mean, when these lights, these bright orbs just suddenly split and take off.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have these giant golden ones that come in, and they come right at you.
Okay, now, you were unable, we could not discern the golden color on the tape.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I remember you said. I remember you said, I'm seeing it just as a bright light in the viewfinder, but with my left eye, I can see it's gold color.
Yeah, that was a higher one. There's been so much activity here, unfortunately, we haven't been able to get it all on film.
Hold on, if you would please. James Julian is my guest. He's a ufologist up in Washington State, which seems to be... James, welcome back. I've got good news and medium news. The good news is one person I see out of 10 here that I've got on my screen right now did get through. Watch, he says, a 31 meg MP file, and he says, wowzers, that's Dick in Cottage Grove, Oregon. So he saw some video. Okay. Most of the other people, though, are saying things like, the site is slow, it's not just you, I'm on cable. Or, let's see. A sound is downloading now, but at about 50 bytes a second. I may hear it next week if I'm lucky. So that gives you some idea of what's happening to your website right now.
Well, we know that 1.5 million of your listeners have computers, that's for sure.
Yeah, all right, so they're trying to get to what they can get to. All right, so I've got this CD, and by the way, it looks like it has, I'm trying to determine how many tracks are actually on. I guess just one. All right, it described to me where you were when you recorded this and the circumstances around whatever's on here.
Okay, this particular sound was recorded actually by a friend of mine by the name of Troy, who was very involved with us here, and he was a student at Portland State University. And he came up here and made telepathic contact with them. And he was a kung fu master, Qigong master, totally fearless, very tapped in, studied at all the Eastern schools. And when he made contact with these beings, he sat there and cried for half an hour. And he said, this is the strongest energy he's ever felt anywhere. And his first meeting with him, when they came in and flew over real low, he had a $7,000 video camera with him, and it just sat there hanging at his side. And I told him, I said, you think you're ready, but you're not ready yet.
Along with his mouth on his chin, on his chest, I suppose.
Exactly, his mouth was wide open, and he was just 2 feet planted and almost in shock.
I understand that.
And I told him, I said, well, this is your first one, and so, I said, you're just getting primed, for when they really come in.
So then what, he had it running, but not pointed?
Well, no, what he did was, they told him there's 2 videos that he took for us, and one is on the other video that I'm sending you that we have available on our site. And he took one out of a plane window where they said they were going to fly next to the plane. And he shot that, and they did. They flew right next to the commercial plane. He shot it out the window, and he got
those on videotape.
Yeah,
out of a commercial airline.
Exactly, and this ship flies right along next to the plane, and it starts shape-shifting, which is the weirdest thing. And it turns into a large pillar, like a pillar of light, straight up and down.
Yes.
And then it turns into an arrowhead, and then it turns into a hand held exactly like the Hebrew symbol for God. And which is phenomenal. And
I think that's one I remember. It's just like this. Except this little being might have been Twilight Zone, I don't know, where this little being was pounding on the airliner's window. And it was terrifying. This isn't quite that bad, but what anybody else can tell besides your friend and seen was, like, the other passengers, the stewardess,
yeah, the person next to him was seeing it. And he was really afraid. He didn't tell anybody because he thought they might steal his tape. And so he didn't tell anybody else or try to verify it.
But he got the tape.
Exactly. And we actually have copies of that, and that's all. It's been analyzed by Jim Delato's Village Labs and several other people, and they said there's no evidence whatsoever of a hoax.
All right, come back now to the sound that I'm going to play.
The second thing he filmed was right outside of his window at Portland State University. They brought a mothership in, a great big one, and he sat there and filmed it. Now, the film only shows light in the sky, a very large light, right? But the light actually corresponds with the sound. And when the sound starts pulsing faster, the light pulses faster. And so it ties it in with the ship. And the sound, too, has some very interesting characteristics here, because when people hear it, it seems to alter them in some way, in a very good way. But it triggers either old memories or something. People just love hearing the sound.
I've never heard it now. So he recorded this. The only thing on video was very bright light, but obviously the camera was rolling now. Did anybody utter any language during this that I can't play on the air?
No. No. And actually what we did is we had to take out the background noise because actually he was listening to you in the background interviewing Linda Moulton Howe.
You're kidding.
No,
We get around.
no, but it was pretty funny. So we had to take that out to boost him the sound.
All right. How far above him was this when he takes this?
I would say probably a couple thousand feet. You know, just a guesstimate.
And he had invited this thing to arrive.
Exactly. What happened was he would go into meditation. We showed him how to connect with them, and that's why we call it enlightened contact with extraterrestrials, because we have a technique that we can show people actually how to connect with these beings.
And really, your work is very much like Dr. Greer, isn't it?
Very much. It's very similar.
Dr. Greer also feels that he can communicate with these beings and cause contact. And they've got quite a few records of it. All right, I'm going to play this sound. I'm dying to hear it, so let's play the sound and we'll be right back. Here it is, whatever it is. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. You're saying that it was delivering that sound from 2,000 feet up?
Exactly, right to your camcorder. They have.
I've lost my lunch.
Yeah.
That's some sound. What do you think we're hearing? We're hearing obviously the drive system, I guess, of some kind of craft or what?
Well, actually, I'll tell you another mind blower is that sound. When I listen to the Elfrat side and the Kent Desmond, both have a sound of a pulse coming from the center of the galaxy.
Yes.
And they added the golden mean to it and they put it together on a tape. And when you clicked on it, it sounded almost identical to that craft.
One more time, very short version. Not exactly steady. You hear it hit a little. There, for example. Oh, that's weird stuff, James. It kind of stutter steps a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, that might be in the reproduction of it because we had to do some work on it to take out the background.
Is that basically an accurate rendition otherwise?
Yeah, it's very accurate. We just removed some of the background noise.
Like my show on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd lose it. If there was an object above me making that sound, with a very bright light, I don't think I could really hold it together. But then again, he was new, I guess, in this, right? You're kind of an old hand at this by now.
Yes.
So I think you'd probably keep your camera in the right. In fact, I must say, you were doing an incredible job. On the video, folks, you could see, even though it was nighttime, it was clear enough, or there was enough light where the camera was good enough. You could see Mount Adams quite clearly. In fact, when you were zoomed in, although it's a long zoom, you could see the trees, you could see the rocks above the tree line, that sort of thing, on Mount Adams. And when one landed, it kind of landed and moved around on the mountain for quite a period of time, didn't it?
Yeah, we had two landings. One lasted about 45 minutes, and the other one lasted probably about an hour and 15 minutes.
And you tracked these on the ground as best you could as they moved all around the mountain, from the tree line up to above the tree line, and then down even toward the base of the mountain, right?
Exactly. One came actually over the top of the mountain, which would be impossible for any kind of a vehicle. And that's also a wilderness area. There are no vehicles allowed, not even a helicopter. No motorized vehicle can go up there. And the only way You couldn't go up there if it was a life and death, like a rescue, and you have to have a note from the governor and the head of the wilderness department here.
Okay. Just for the record, if you wouldn't mind, ask Paul to either get on the phone or pick up the phone. He's another witness who was with you during all of this, right?
Yes, I know he's listening in right now, and he should have the phone right next to him.
All right, Paul, turn your radio off and pick up your telephone. That information will get to him in about 6 seconds.
Okay.
About now.
Okay, yes, I'm here, Art.
Yeah, hi, Paul.
Okay,
I take it you're listening to a radio in a different room.
Yes, I'm actually in our other house, what we call our guest house, where people that come to watch me go to craft that day.
How long have you known James?
3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
And you know the videotape I saw, right?
Oh, yes, I was out there watching it.
All right, you were there during all of this?
Yes.
Your observations, please.
And we're talking about the last landing here.
I beg your pardon.
Are we referring to the last, most recent landing?
Well, the times that you saw the objects near Mount Adams, around Mount Adams, above Mount Adams, the objects that traveled sometimes moving in impossible ways, sometimes accelerating in impossible ways, obviously not satellites, those objects, those whatever they were.
Okay. Well, basically, these are, from what I can see, the same craft that we view overhead all the time, that we videotape, that make these impossible right angle turns that, well, they light up on request, as Steve was mentioning earlier. We saw something kind of funny just last night when two of these craft were flying over in a commercial airplane was coming towards them, and one of them made a real quick, like, a right angle turn, like as a zip. Who knows how many thousands of miles per hour to move out of the way at the last second. And we know that, we were just laughing, when we know that pilot must have been blown away. And of course, we love it, that pilot would call into the program. Oh, yeah, it was 11 o'clock.
We shouldn't hold our breath on that one.
So anyhow,
Is there any way the pilot could have missed it?
no, they wait till the last minute to get that out of the way.
I know it's difficult to judge on altitude, but how seemingly close to the airliner did it come?
It looked like within 1,000 feet. I mean, as far as height, within, I'd say 1,000, 2,000 feet. I mean, we couldn't say that they were a direct line of each other, but surely within his view. And then, I wouldn't say they were going to fly, but surely he could see the big orb just hovering there, right in front of him. It was quite close, but I don't think there was ever a real danger of a collision. It was more like there's like a contact where they come in and hover there for a minute and say hi and then move out of the way. So the pilot doesn't panic.
Paul, how close has your contact been? James has had full contact, has met with these beings, which we had to get to yet. How about you? How much contact have you experienced?
The same, but with different group of beings actually. But again, working for the same cause. I wouldn't say it was exactly the same. It was more. My situation was more one where we were out in a vehicle and kind of contacted by a craft that came in and basically picked up the vehicle. So that was a different group, but yet associated with what's going on here. They're definitely connected. They're all working together.
How many are typically, for example, on a cold night up there near Mount Adams? How many of you are there that witness these incredible things?
Well, this depends again if it's a weekend and if people are coming up. During this time of year when it warms up and when you get the word out, a lot of people will come up, and sometimes there's as many as 20 people outside there around the campfire, basically the way we set it up. And we'll see the campfire that faces forward towards the mountains, where the activity is primarily occurring in that direction. And so I would say, if you get me and James, or if you get me 20 or 30 of us out there, I think we can. 20 or 30.
You've seen, and I'm sure you say the same thing about the years. Did you see Independence Day, the both of you? Oh, yeah. You remember the group on top of the building that was waving and screaming and yelling and UFO land here? Yeah, Tom Saber and all the rest of it, they held up signs. And as I recall, they were the first group that were destroyed by the Independence Day craft, right? Now, have you ever, as a group, wondered about that? I mean, after all, you are inviting things in about which you don't know a great deal, or you certainly didn't in the beginning, and still may not.
You want to take that one, James? I think our biggest threat isn't coming from the ET, it's coming from people. We just had a warlord client here, the U.S. Marine Corps, actually fall on and invited. He could tell you about it. Yeah, they gave us a low flyover this morning about, well, I think it was about 11 a.m.
Yeah, we get those here too.
Yeah, and those Warthog bombers, I believe they're called Warthog. Yeah, we use the Gulf War, the low-level bombers.
That's what they go after tanks.
And yeah, they flipped up and showed us the underside, but we were a little strong. Because they went over our top level. Oh, it's not. Yeah, it was a little bit of that big helicopter was here last week, the same thing. We just nearly died. I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, we don't know. I mean,
that you might not be inviting something that will be happy with you when it gets there.
I personally, I've experienced it firsthand, so I don't have a problem with that. And I also know these other ones are looking after me.
So no negative experience.
It's an energy thing, Art. When you're connecting with the ship even, and when they light up, there's a pulse of energy that comes down that literally fuels your whole body, and it creates an excitement that I can only explain it like you see a child with a new toy. Riding his bike for the first time, a 2-year-old kid or whatever. It's a level of excitement that goes to you, and just the rush of real positive energy is just incredible. And then the one that James filmed here about, well, I guess it was about 2 weeks ago now, you can see these pulses of this energy coming off of it. They're hitting me directly, and I'm outside building a campfire.
If you didn't have photographs and video and sound, people would think you're crazy as a loon.
Yes, they probably would.
Or, sorry, loons. All right, hold on. Instead of bumper music, let us go to the break with this. You're listening to Coast to Coast AM from the High Desert. You're listening. Back down to James Hill. James, are you there?
Yeah.
All right. Somebody asks West, but do they say anything about the concept of death?
No, they do actually.
Really? One.
Basically, they live much longer than we do. They live, around 800 years or so. So the one that I connected with was around 400 years old and looked like she was about, 29 or so. But
HGH plus.
Exactly. Plus. But they, to them, it's the wheel basically that nothing ever dies, and that your body, although it lays down, it just disassembles itself back into the elements, and that the life force is actually in the atom itself, and then the spirit goes on. So everything is in a constant renewal, you might say. It's just transforming.
Yep.
But they said that nothing, as a soul, you go on and on and on. And it's real important, too, is what they said. There's a lot of us here on Earth that are more from the stars in our soul than we are from Earth. Our souls have come here and picked up a body from these other places. So, and a lot of these people are being activated right now. My second contact, what that entailed was a beam of light came right through the wall, getting square in the chest, and it actually left a burn mark on my chest. And the next thing you know, I was standing aboard the ship, and it was more of a plasma ship. This one, it was more of a spiritual experience, but it left a burn mark on my chest to prove that this was a real event.
You know that a lot of religious conservatives would say You fool, don't you realize that what you're encountering isn't from anywhere else, any other star system? What you're encountering is the devil, demonic forces. And to that you would say what?
Well, I've heard it all, but,
Oh, I know, but I thought you might
Yeah.
hear it one more time.
yeah, basically, to me, I look at the vibration of the experience. If there's love and joy and service involved in it, I don't see how it can go wrong. And there's just the sheer energy, because I was trained extensively in dealing with discarnate spirits and things of that level in my yoga and lama training and things like that. So I do know how to heal and move those kind of energies on.
So you think you can separate the two, and you know you're not dealing with that?
Exactly. I don't have any doubts at all.
You're not denying the presence of that, or the possible presence of that, but you're saying that's not what this is.
No, this isn't what this is. And I think what's interesting is this is mentioned throughout the Bible. It's mentioned throughout almost every sacred text. J.J. Hurtak and the Keys of Enoch talk a lot about these kinds of contacts that are happening right here. As a matter of fact, I spoke at a conference with him, and he came up after I spoke, and he said, thank you very much for the talk and all the photos that we got. He said, what's happening at your ranch is what he's written about. But he said it's happening a little faster than he expected.
Do you have videos or tapes available for people who don't have internet?
Yeah, we do, and the video is so much better than what's on the internet. It comes out much clearer. We're working on that now. We're getting some live video streaming and things of that nature. Again, I said we're very underfunded. We don't have any funding, basically, and we don't have the equipment to really get this information out like it needs.
Well, let me help you fund. How much do you charge for the tapes?
The tapes, we have one for $14.99, and that covers all of the TV shows I've been on. It has the photos in it. It has the plane episode where it flies next to shaped ships, and it has a lot of other contacts that are happening with kids.
What about some of what you sent me?
Yes, a lot of that's on those tapes. The only thing that's not on it is the landies, the last two landies.
That was so new.
Yeah, that's still new, but
$14.99. How would people get that to you?
now they can either send a check or money order to the Self-Mastery Earth Institute, and that's
Self-Mastery Earth Institute.
Yeah, or just SMEI or
SMEI would be easier. All right.
And PO Box 281, Hood River, Oregon. And it's 97031.
I'm sorry, I'm slow here. The zip code again, please.
97031.
Okay. SMEI, PO Box 281, Hood River, Oregon. Zip code 97031. Out of curiosity, from the time they send you a check or money order, whatever, how long will it be before they get their case?
We can send them right out. We're getting low on stock. These are kind of flying out the door. I'm working with Bill Smith with our into it. I'm going to be on May 1st. I'm going to be on his program where he has another video that he made of an interview with me. And he's got a 1-800 number for that one if people want to call that number to get that tape where he has a lot of good footage as well. It's a different tape. It's 1-800-662-1877.
1-800-662-1877. So that's a different interview.
Yeah, it's another interview, and it has a lot of the same footage. And what we're getting ready to do is we're going to add the landing and a couple other just phenomenal shots to the first video, and that should be available in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. All right. Everybody bear that in mind. On the international line, you're on the air with James Silverman.
I have some matters from Alan decided.
Yes, sir.
No question for you again this morning about NYC. I'm curious to know, firstly, if they really do exist, and if they do, what's their agenda?
All right, Men in Black is what he's saying.
All right.
Do they really exist? And if they do, what are they all about?
I'll tell you my own experiences here. We do have like helicopters flying around here. and they do appear right after an incident might happen, like the landing. They came right after that happened, and they're very aware of what's going on. We've actually filmed them. They're in the videos. I just grabbed a camera and walked out there and started filming them. And they do have some strange hardware that I've never seen before and nobody else can identify. We've had them fly very low here around the house, videotape the entire place here, and then drop down to about a couple feet off the ground. And they were so close that I actually saw a mole on the pilot's face. Like I was looking face to face with them, and they have not one mark on that copter.
You know, the way it's going, if you're on a ranch?
Yes.
Your ranch isn't nothing more than a burn spot soon. You're going to be lucky. All right, first time calling the line, you're on the air with James. Hi.
Hi, James. This is Douglas from San Jose, Texas. Hello, Douglas. That's great to be with you. I have a question. You said something earlier about the contacts that you've had. They might be ancestors or brothers or sisters from a past calamity and Earth past, maybe? Yes. Now, the past 2 or 3 years, I've been having visions, dreams about different sendings. And the only way that I've been able to interpret these is by doing writing. And when I do the writing, it comes out sometimes I feel like I'm not even the one doing the writing. Yeah, they call it automatic writing. Yeah, here it flows through you and you write down the transmission. But it's coming out as sometimes it comes out, as things I have to put together later to interpret it, but mostly it's coming out as a story. Yeah. And I just was wondering if you think that they're attempting some kind of reintegration or with us, like that we're the same race, it's just developed differently from them, like they escaped the calamity, or are we separately created creatures, or are we a common ancestor? We're a common ancestry and a common genetic. They are what I tell you what happened a long time ago in the myths that aren't really myths about Atlantis, Lemuria. Those were originally Palladian colonies. And they actually attracted a lot of beings from other nations, and they all lived together harmoniously, but then things got out of hand, and technology got out of hand, and they started warring on each other, and they pretty much did themselves in and almost did the planet in. But we've had several, we're going into the 5th world right now. This isn't the first civilization, that's been here, and that's why they're finding all these pyramids and temples that we can't see today, because those are some of the buildings of the ancient ancestors, and the very ancient ones are being recycled, as molten rock, because Earth is always bending inward and recycling itself. All right, Corey in Austin, Texas, practical question. What is their light source? What do they consume? As far as I understand, they eat a lot of things just like we do, and a lot of our plant and animal kingdom actually was brought here, and so their environment is much like ours. I haven't gotten that much into their diet, but are they meat eaters? Do you know? I've heard that some do and some don't. I think most of them are probably more vegetarian, but I think they do have some form of protein that they get from an animal. Good, because if it keeps up the way it is, we'll have to borrow a hamburger from them soon. Exactly. Wildfire Line, you're on the air with James Gilliland. Hi. That'd be like mad alien disease, like mad cow or something. Well, once it's widespread down here, then what price a hamburger, huh? Or chicken? Yeah. It's weird jet chemical cool like Alberta. Yes, sir. Hey, can I answer that question? So why do our scientists need gardens in Antarctica? Sure, you can try and answer it. I have a question, but this is like, could it be something similar to the movie Ice Station Zebra? Yes, of course it could. Could be similar to the theme, too. I have no idea what's going on down there, but we're going to find out somehow. The Russians are supposed to be there too, aren't they? Oh, yes. And so we've had several. Yes, with a big magnetic anomaly and a lake and listen, it could be. I'm surprised nobody's seen James Arnett floating across the ice yet. That's where it's going. Do you have a question? Yes, I do.
And, you know, something happened tonight that was, scared the Jesus out of me, I guess you could say, on the air. I got a ride home tonight by a guy whose name was Jeff. He's a cab driver here in town. Yes. And I've got a law enforcement background. And, you know, the first time in my life, I wasn't sure whether I was being interviewed or interrogated. And I think that maybe I've called too many times on a lot of Carolina art, but I got a bit of a scare tonight. So I don't know.
Well, I hope you didn't leave much shit. Anyway,
not at all. But my question is this.
Yes.
I've read some documents in the past, James.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever heard anything about devices? Let me explain what they look like. The Germans did grenades in the Second World War, but very miniature. You know what I'm talking about? You like the swastika? No, a stick grenade, like it's a wooden handle with a knob at the top. It's a grenade, not like ours. Ours are handheld.
Oh, okay. Oh, stick grenade. Okay.
Yes, okay. Stick grenade. Yeah, but they're smaller, and at the top there's two rings, and they're magnetic, and they're placed on highways or roads, and they attach themselves to vehicles that are tagged or not, or random, and they're used for tracking by the people you're talking about, by aliens, which are they're set up on roads to.
I've never heard of such a thing. Jana, have you?
No, I haven't. I know the ones that we're dealing with don't have any problem tracking you at all. They don't even need a device.
That's how I would think it would be.
Yeah, they're so advanced. They can just like pretty much think about you and know where you are.
East of the Rockies, you're on the air with James. Hi.
Hi, it's Glenn from South Texas.
Yes.
I have two questions for James and a comment. The first question is, have they run that sound through an oscilloscope? And if they've seen any higher or lower frequencies, because there seems to be some kind of pattern.
Yeah, they have. And the person to talk to on that would be Jim Delasosa of Village Labs. And if you send me an email, I'll get you his contact information, and he gets all the analysis on it. And he said it had all kinds of anomalies in it.
You have an email address?
No, I
No,
don't.
not you call it.
Oh, yes.
And you said, James, you said send an email.
Yeah.
You haven't given out any email address.
Okay, yeah, you can send one, just, click on the site, eSETI.org.
Yeah, but that might not be so easy right now, so.
Yeah, or you can send it to James at Ezekiel, it's C-A-Z-E-K.
Wait a minute. James at, starting at
C-A-Z-E-K-I-E-L.org.
pretty good address, James at Ezekiel, CAZEKIEL.org. Okay, call it.
Very good. And my second question, am I to understand that when you refer to Pleiadians, that these are from the Seven Sisters, the constellation, the whole constellation, the Pleiades?
They come from that region, but actually they're in a different time than we know it. So if we went there, we wouldn't, that's basically the reference point they give us where they do a jump.
I see. Because
They do a jump in time.
I'm not much of an amateur UFOologist, but I've heard the term. And my comment is that I'm fairly keen with sound. I can recognize when people do voiceovers and I've heard something in popular culture that was almost identical to that sound.
What was it?
It was in the Charlie Sheen movie, The Arrival. And it wasn't when he heard the signals. It was when they were in the artificial epidermis application room.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
underground.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
Underground layer.
I would have to compare it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie, but I'd love to hear that sound.
I've seen the movie, yeah, but I
What
don't
was the movie again?
It was The Arrival. The Arrival, yeah.
The Arrival?
Okay, Martin Sheen was in that, right?
I'll have to go with that and check it out.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. That's it.
All right, well, thank you very much and take care. Yeah, it's such a weird sound. And again, people in the audience should know that unless you have a base system capable of reproducing the sound, it's not gonna sound like much to you because it really is all at the low end. I mean, the real low end. Hold on, James, we're at the bottom of the hour. Once again into the night. All right, James Gilliland is here from ESETI, and let's see where he is again. James? All right, let's go international. On the international line, you're on the air with James. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Germany, state of here.
Yes, sir. Good to hear from you. We've been hearing a lot of reports lately of triangle sighted in Germany. Have you heard anything about this?
I've heard about it, and I have directly seen it.
All right.
I just wanted to ask James if he's had any questions answered on other civilizations that are out there, especially those much like our own that have not quite developed to the point where they can reach warp technology and time travel stuff, so we know where we are in the plane of the rest of the universe.
Yeah, we're kind of at the low end, basically. There are other beings that have, the stuff that we've been working with is interstellar and interdimensional. And they're extremely advanced. Some of them, the best way to explain it is a vibrational continuum. And everybody, we're all multi-dimensional beings existing on this vibrational continuum. So though we have a physical body, we also have a mental, emotional, and spiritual body as well. And when a race starts evolving, they evolve more out of the physical body and become more of an energy body, you might say. And as they further evolve, they evolve into a light body, and as they further evolve along the vibrational continuum, they go into just pure consciousness.
So is that on the same basis as the actual body when we have out-of-body experiences, or have they evolved to the point where they exist only within the actual body itself?
They're a little bit beyond our frequency. They have to drop their frequency down to work with us, but they do have the technology to do that. So their ships can go, time travel, they can drop the frequency down and experience lower dimensions and higher dimensions as well. So they're very advanced beings, and there are other ones out there. The whole universe is full of life, and I guess from my understanding, there are some people that are still quite primitive, in other systems.
Right.
So there's I don't know what they're at now. There's something like 400 billion suns in the Milky Way galaxy, and then they've lost count on how many billions of galaxies there are. So it's just phenomenal the exposure for life out there. There's just so much.
And one more question, if I may. Has the sound that you have recorded, has it been tested into a depth of water to see what it would sound like through that and through other atmospheric mediums?
Oh, that's a very interesting. Thank you all the way from Germany. Thank you for the call. That's a really interesting question.
It almost sounds, when you listen to the background noise, it sounds like it's in space or underwater.
Yeah.
It has a real strange sound to it. So,
again, you've got to be able to reproduce with a lot of bass. You've got to have a lot of bass to really hear the full range of this thing. So that's all I would say. I know that a lot of people aren't hearing it properly on the radios.
A lot of this needs more analysis, and it's brand new. I mean, the March 10th landing is very new. And we have shipped it out to certain people, and a couple of them I don't want to mention their name because, until we get the evidence back, it might change the outcome.
All right, we don't want to do that. First time caller line, you're on the air with James Gilliland.
Hi, James. This is Tim from Walmart. I'm wondering, do these beings believe in a higher power?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. They do. They believe in God. You might say they have a different image of it than we do. It's much more expansive than the images that most people have on Earth. I'll tell you what's really interesting is that I was giving a talk at Mount Shasta, and a yogi was there. And when I showed these really large golden ships, the photographs we have of them, he just jumped up and down, he got all excited. And he started saying, Brahmanas.
And it's hard to get a yoga excited.
Yeah, and he goes, those are the gods, you know, the ancient gods that they refer to in their ancient text. So it's kind of, you know, in Ezekiel, he covers this quite a bit. Like he gets some pretty elaborate descriptions of shiny metallic discs coming out of the firmament. They have calf feet that are bronze with fire and brimstone coming out from underneath them. They sound like 1,000 rushing rivers when they land. So in Amos and Job, they talk about the Pleiades and Orion and, you know, the other systems. So it's in all the ancient texts. And even on our site, we have quite a few frescoes that are undeniable that have pictures of Mary and Jesus and Joseph in there with UFOs painted right into the background.
Did they explain to you, to your understanding, the concept of always was?
And what?
Always was.
Always was?
Yes.
Yes, it's timeless.
Say what?
I don't understand what always was.
All right. I don't know if anybody understands always was. In other words, something that has always been is probably as incomprehensible to us as,
You know, at the time, you always are.
as there being no end, you know, how high is the sky, guys?
Yeah.
Where does the sky end?